Avital Leibovich este militar de carieră, expert în comunicare și are o experiență redutabilă în lupta antiterorism. Am discutat cu ea despre cât de bine colaborează serviciile secrete la nivel mondial ca să poată face față provocărilor teroriste. We'll talk about terrorism first of all, because Europe is facing this great danger, the rising of terrorism. The fight against terrorism has become a top priority within the EU, and Israel knows this issue for decades. And my first question is, do you have any advice, any suggestion to give to your European partners?
Unfortunately, you're right. Israel has a long-time expertise in the field of terror. We have been suffering for quite a few, many years of these terror events. We're a young country, only 67 years old, but with many years of terror. I think that the resilience of the people is critical at times of terror, because then, you know, it's the test for the nation, how strong it is as a nation. And I think this is the key element in order to go through those difficult times.
Resilience.
The resilience of the people.
But the common fight against terrorism is based also on a good exchange on intelligence. Since the terrorists are better in doing their attacks, are the Secret Service keep up with them?
Well, I think it's about having very good intelligence capabilities and maybe perhaps cooperating with other agencies in the world in order to exchange information. And also keeping up with the technological developments, because as the years progress, there are new technological capabilities, and if the relevant agencies will not be kept up to date, then I think they will have some difficulties. And also today, when you have a digital world, as the name of your station is, and you have people that are being recruited to terror groups through Facebook and through YouTube clips, then I think there needs to be some attention to this whole world of maybe cybersecurity.
We have this huge debate in Europe, and not only in Europe, if the Secret Service from all over the world will have more power in order to fight against terrorism. Can we be sure that this power won't interfere with our private lives?
I think that it depends on how practical steps each country will take. Because at the end of the day, look at what's going on in Israel. You have 30 Arab Israelis that have joined ISIS in the last 3 years. And we are on the border with Syria. But look at Europe. You have thousands and thousands of people that joined ISIS, and they are thousands of miles away. So at the end of the day, each country needs to take relevant, practical steps in order to contain the values that are so critically important to its people.
So do you think Israel is a model?
I think Israel is in a model, but just because we have the expertise in it, we have the knowledge, we have the know-how.
Yeah.
You know what, between you and me, I prefer we'd have an expertise on other issues, not on terror. But what can you do? We are living in a specific neighborhood. We are surrounded with enemies, and we have to defend ourselves best as we can.
Europe, as you said, is also facing a serious threat from the North Africa, especially from the Islamic State, from ISIS. Do you have any information that this organization, the Islamic State, is preparing to enter Gaza from Sinai Peninsula, getting closer to Israeli borders?
You know, one of the topics that has been referred to often is the Iranian issue.
Yes.
But in Israel, every day, we have to face Iranian presence in 3 out of our 4 borders. 3 out of our 4 borders. In Gaza, you have Islamic Jihad and you have Hamas, which are proxies of Iran. In the border with Lebanon, you have Hezbollah, which is an Iranian proxy. And in the Syrian side of the border, you have Iranian forces fighting shoulder near shoulder with Assad regime. So 3 out of our 4 borders, as we speak now, are a threat to us here in Israel. ISIS is another element in the area. Currently, they are not after escalating the situation with Israel, but they can create partnerships with other terror organizations in the area. It can be Al-Qaeda, it can be Jabhat al-Nusra, and then the sky's the limit to what they want to do.
We have in Europe another problem, the rise, the anti-Semitism who is on the rise.
Right.
Jewish people were attacked in France and in Denmark. Do you consider that one of the options for Jews living in Europe is to emigrate in Israel?
I prefer that Jews who want to immigrate to Israel do it on the basis of solidarity and deep wanting rather than fear. The anti-Semitism, it's really a battle of values. It's not only an Israeli or Jewish issue. It's really an issue of the West values versus extreme values, because we're talking about values of freedom of speech and freedom of religion and different kinds of human rights that the other extremists do not understand and see eye to eye. So anti-Semitism, I would say, it's a name of values, of modern values and Western values. So
you don't give them an advice to go to Israel? It's not one of your advice?
I think that people, the gates of Israel are open to Jews from all over the world. But personally,
your Prime Minister already said that. He invited Jews from Europe to come to Israel.
Yeah, the gates are open, but personally I think that when such choice is being made, it should not be based on fear, but really as a place that they identify with and they want to live with.
Last year, almost 2,000 people were killed in Gaza during 50 days of violence. A ceasefire was agreed between Israel and Hamas. And I wanted to ask you, what is now the situation in Gaza?
Well, shortly after the operation finished, Hamas began to rearm. They have fired more than 100 rockets towards the Mediterranean as part of their training. And I'm referring to long range of rockets. The last one was just 2 days ago. 4 rockets were fired into the Mediterranean.
Yes.
Somehow, to buy the rockets, manufacture them, they found the money. The reconstruction of their people, homes, they did not find the money. In addition, they began to redug the tunnels. And this is, of course, something that Israel will not allow to face such a situation.
The international community warned that without reconstruction of Gaza, another war could be just around the corner. What is your opinion?
In Gaza, a war with Gaza?
Yes.
It could be, depends on Hamas, because Israel is not the country attacking Gaza with the rockets. On the contrary, we have opened our gates and we allow something like 500 trucks to go in on a daily basis, filled with everything, including building materials. Our hope is that building materials do go to build the homes of the people in Gaza rather than build new tunnels.